Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I go by Londoncookss, and if you're looking for some super delicious, tender and juicy restaurant style honey barbecue ribs, then look no further. London's got you. Let's get right into this. The seasons that we're working with today, I do have some chopped dried onions, paprika, ground ginger, black pepper, garlic powder, Maggi all-purpose season up, jerk seasoned in the powder form, cayenne pepper, and some brown sugar. Alright, so I am working with a rack of pork ribs, and I did want to show you guys how I do clean and prep my ribs before seasoning. I'm going to first remove the membrane from the back of the rib. Now, it is super important for you to remove this membrane for a number of reasons. The first reason that I do remove my membrane is this membrane can prevent your seasoning from marinating into your meat. The second reason, if you're grilling your rib like I will be doing later on in the video, the membrane can also prevent that smoky flavor from getting into your meat, and I like that smoky flavor in my meat, so that is definitely a no-no for me. The third reason is, I'm not sure if you guys have ever cooked ribs and left the membrane on before, but when it cooks with the membrane on it, personally, I think it tastes like leather. It's really hard and it's just bad, you guys. So I do remove that membrane for a number of reasons, and I do start removing this membrane by using my knife to get up under the edge of the membrane, and eventually I'm going to be able to grab enough of this membrane that I'm just going to be able to just peel it right back, which I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about when I say I'm going to peel it right back. Alright, so I'm still trying to get enough of that membrane that way I can go ahead and peel it back, and I think I've had enough, so I'm going to go ahead and just peel that membrane right back. It's super easy, you guys. And as you can see in the video, I wasn't able to get everything off in one try. So I'm going to ensure that I remove every last piece of this membrane from my rack of rib. Alright, and here is my rack of rib. My membrane has been removed, and this is how it looks after you've removed the membrane. Alright, so I'm going to get started with my barbecue rub for my ribs. I already had 2 tablespoons of brown sugar in my bowl, so I'm just going to go ahead and combine all my spices in that bowl. I'm going in with 3 tablespoons of that jerk powder seasoning, 2.5 tablespoons of paprika, 1 tablespoon cayenne pepper. Feel free to add more cayenne pepper if you do like spicy. 2.5 tablespoons of that Maggi all-purpose seasoning, 1 tablespoon black pepper, 1 tablespoon ground ginger, 2.5 tablespoons of dried onions, and you can feel free to use onion powder if you like. I personally do not like onion powder, so I use dried onions instead if I do use onion powder. And I did also go in with 2.5 tablespoons of garlic powder. I made sure to combine everything using my spice blender. Alright, so my rib has been washed with vinegar and water, and I'm now going to go in with my barbecue season blend. And I'm being very, very generous when applying this seasoning, you guys. You want to ensure that you cover everywhere when seasoning, and make sure to rub it in and massage it into the meat. All right, you want to get your sides everywhere, you guys. And don't be mean with your seasoning. Go in, all the way in. And if you guys notice, I did not remove any of that marbling of fat from my meat. That is important for keeping your meat nice and tender and juicy. So if you want to remove some of that fat, that is fine, but do not go overboard removing that fat. You need it. It's very important for flavor and tenderness. Okay, so I've covered everywhere on my meat with seasoning, and I do have a little bit left over. So what I'm basically going to do right now is to apply the rest of that seasoning on the top to create almost like a crust, just to ensure that when this meat is cooked and I bite down into it, I'm tasting that seasoning. Again, I'm not overdoing it, but I'm applying almost like a thin layer of that extra seasoning, and I'm making sure to pat it into my meat. I'm also going to drizzle a little olive oil over both sides of my meat, and that is to help my meat to marinate a little better with the seasoning. All right, and this is my rib after it has been seasoned. I do recommend to let this sit for at least 24 hours, you guys. The longer, the better. You won't regret it. All right, so I'm going to first start off by baking my ribs in the oven at 250 degrees for 2.5 hours. I'm making sure to spray my pan that has been lined with foil, and I'm going to be covering this super tight. And the reason for covering it really tight, it's going to almost, what should I say, steam in the oven. This step, personally, I think it's very important to keep your ribs tender and juicy. All right, and I did put my ribs in the oven 2.5 hours. Now my ribs are done, and this is how they look after they came out the oven. Really juicy, and it smells so good, you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna get started on my barbecue sauce for my ribs. I do have 1 cup of barbecue sauce in here, a 1/4 cup of apple juice, a 1/4 cup of honey, and also 2 tablespoons of sweet chili sauce. And I have it over a medium heat right now, and I'm basically just trying to bring those flavors together. So I would say I had it on the stove for about 3 minutes, not even to a simmer, just trying to combine all my flavors, because this is what I'm going to use to base my ribs with when I do put them on the grill. I am using a gas grill, you guys. And it is at, I would say, a medium heat. And I did put a foil paper on here. And that is because I'm going to be saucing my ribs on the grill, and I don't want that to mess up my grill. All right, so I made sure to also spray just to prevent my ribs from sticking. And I'm going in with that barbecue sauce. I did make sure to baste each side at least twice, you guys, because I like that strong barbecue flavor. So the more barbecue sauce, the better. All right, so my ribs stayed on the grill for about 25 minutes. That's with me basting each side at least twice. All right, and my ribs are done after 25 minutes. Smells so good, you guys. All right, here are my ribs after I removed it from the grill, and you guys, it was so good. So good. All right, so I wanted to show you guys what my ribs look like when I cut into it. As you can see, super juicy, very moist. And once you try this recipe, you're going to agree that it is super, super delicious. All right, look at that. Beautiful. All right, and we did have ours with some creamy mashed potatoes and a side of salad. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and be safe out there.